Welcome to another video. My name is Rachel and we are here to talk about my favorite ways to use crystals. I am just going to jump right in and say my favorite way to use crystals is to wear them, because I think it is the easiest way to utilize crystals and to get used to their energy and have their energy around you on a very normal and an extended period of time, and you might not even realize it. Whereas other methods, if you're trying to meditate with a crystal or something, you might only have it on you for 5 minutes while you're trying to meditate. But if you put a crystal on as a piece of jewelry and then it's just on you all day long as you're going about your life, the crystal has all of that time to kind of work on you and attune to your energy, and you also have time to get used to it and see how it makes you feel. And it's very easy to find crystal jewelry. You can find crystals in rings. You can find them in necklaces. I'm always wearing bracelets. Another way I enjoy using crystals is to just carry them with me all day in a pocket, or you can put them in a sock. You can put them in a bra. You can put them in a big messy bun if you have enough hair, and you can stick a crystal in there. There are so many ways that you can have crystals on you all day long. Since we're having crystals on us all day long when we're awake, why not also have crystals work on us when we're asleep? Another one of my favorite ways to use crystals is to sleep with them. Now, I keep them both on my bedside table so that they're always kind of in my auric field. I just heard someone say the other day our auric field is supposed to be 5 feet around us or something like that. So certainly if that is the case, then having crystals on your bedside table would definitely put them in a beneficial position to be working on your consciousness all night while you're sleeping. However, if you want to go even deeper with a crystal, you can also put them under your pillow. You can put them in your pillowcase. For some small stones, especially like moldavite, that get lost fairly easily for some people, I recommend putting them in a small mesh bag and then putting that small mesh bag into your pillowcase. And I feel like that helps keep it in place, but also keeps it very close to you so that you can kind of absorb that crystal energy and enjoy it while you're sleeping. A lot of people have very lucid dreams or very interesting dreams when they sleep with crystals around them. While we are talking about placing crystals in certain places, you can place crystals around your environment to do different things. For instance, you can grid crystals around your house in the corners and near doors and windows and things like that, especially when using protection crystals, to put protection around yourself and your home. You can also place crystals in locations where you spend a lot of time. Putting a large stone that's good for communication, for instance, might be really good to put in the middle of a living area where you're always trying to communicate with other people in the household. Putting crystals that are good for focus might be really good to place in an office or at a desk, so that you are then using that crystal energy in that space to make yourself better. Certainly putting calming crystals in the bedroom or near the bathtub is always a good idea. Just think about the different places that you are during the day, what energies you deal with when you are there, and what energies that you wish you had to help the way that you feel when you are there. So just by paying attention to what you're doing in your life, you can kind of map crystals around you to help support you no matter what you're doing. In the same way that you can grid your house and your space with crystals, you can do the same thing to your car. Especially if you're someone who spends a lot of time in your car. Think about all of the energies that you are exposed to when you're driving around. When you're sitting in traffic and you can feel other people's energies around you, or if you can feel your own energy getting frustrated when you're in traffic, or if you're getting lost. There are so many different energies that you can encounter throughout the day. Gridding your car is such a great idea. Personally, I keep one big, large piece of black tourmaline in the center console of my car. Malachite is also really great to keep in the car. It's supposed to help protect you from accidents. But also, like I said, think about the energy that you think you're feeling when you're in a certain space. Let's say you get anxious and upset when you're driving. Put stones for calmness in your car. You can counteract whatever energy you don't want to be feeling with an energy that you do want to be feeling. Another great way to utilize the placement of crystals is by making crystal grids. The most basic way I can think of to explain a crystal grid is, we believe that crystals have all these powers, right? Putting them in a grid is about taking that power and directing it to do what you want it to do. So you can make a grid in the middle of your home for calmness. You can make a grid in the middle of your office for prosperity. You can make a grid in your bedroom for sleep. Crystal grids are a great way to utilize crystal energy and also learn more about crystal energy as you're playing with grids, and you can kind of feel the energy move and see how it's working in your life. So a lot of what I've already mentioned is a lot about emotions and managing the way that you feel. But on a physical level, crystals are also very, very healing, and you can use crystals to help heal yourself. So one of my favorite things to do with crystals is to intuitively pick out what I need when I need healing, both physically and emotionally. So for instance, if I'm feeling very like anxious about something or even scared about something that's coming up, I will usually grab something that I know is going to be soothing for myself. The first thing that's popping to mind is a nice big piece of raw lepidolite, and I will usually just place it right on my body and start breathing and start absorbing the energies of that crystal. You can also pick up a crystal just when you're feeling a little bit like blah, like you need motivation and creativity. Absolutely, you can get that from a crystal. Crystals that pop into mind for that are moldavite, citrine, carnelian, like the brighter oranges and yellows are always great for creativity, but also the really high vibrational crystals like moldavite and phenakite actually give you more of like a physical caffeinated feeling sometimes. So I think that's really great for motivation and creativity also. Selenite is one of my favorite healing crystals. So if you have any kind of like backache, stomach ache, whatever physical ailment is kind of like pulling at you, selenite can be a game changer. And when I say selenite, I'm talking about satin spar. Same family, much less expensive, much easier to find. And I will take a large piece of selenite and I will hold it, and I have even slept with large pieces of selenite before, and you wake up feeling brand new. I have laid down with like a cramp or something before, and so bad, like so bad that I can barely move. And I grab a piece of selenite and lay down with it for like 10 minutes and it's completely gone. Crystals don't always work that fast and sure, but they can. It's a thing. And people have been using crystals for healing for millions of years. It's not something new that we're just making up. Like, people go back to crystals over and over again for a reason, because they actually help us. Another great way to utilize crystals for their healing is doing a body layout. And I actually made a video on this that I will link for you, but basically you can just lay down and place crystals on yourself and let them work on you, and it's usually a very calming, soothing experience. Step that up one notch by using corresponding colors with the chakras that you're laying them on, and you're gonna get even a more beneficial healing result out of that. In that same kind of idea, I also love laying crystals around my yoga mat when I lay it out at night. And sometimes I'll do it by lining up crystals where my chakras will be most of the time when I'm on the yoga mat. And sometimes I just use random crystals and kind of make a grid all the way around it, or just lay crystals all the way around it. And I feel like it puts me in this magical space of like all this crystal healing going on. It's just a really great resonance, and it's just another way to like connect with your crystals. Instead of just leaving them all in a room all the time, you can actually use them, and you don't have to follow anyone's rules. You can do whatever you want with them. And there are so many different ways to connect with them. And I think that the more that you use them and the more you connect with them, the more beneficial they are in your life, because the more you kind of like understand each other. Going a little bit like deeper with crystals, I love holding a certain crystal while I'm reading about it. Sometimes when I do this, it's just so cool to watch. For instance, this happened to me specifically with a lithium quartz point one time. I picked it up and I decided to just feel it for a few minutes. And I sat there and I started feeling this like throbbing in my third eye. And then I felt the energy travel to somewhere else in my body. So I sit with it for a minute and start feeling it out, and then I will look up the stone that I'm holding while I'm still holding it, and I start reading about it. When I did it this time with this point, I started reading about the effects that I had already had, the throbbing in the third eye, and then wherever it is that it had moved to. And then as I kept reading, I kept feeling the lithium quartz doing the things I was reading about. And it was so amazingly, I don't know, like profound. It was such a profound experience because it was feeling what I was reading, just the way it all matched up. If you haven't done this, please try doing it. You can just look it up on Google if you don't have any crystal books. Reading about a crystal while you're holding the crystal, such a good thing to do. And then, of course, we all know meditating with crystals is such a good way to get to know them. You can do this in so many ways, though. You can listen to a guided meditation about that certain crystal. You can ask that crystal before meditation to show you things. I have a friend a very spiritual friend who taught me a lot of things about crystals. And somebody asked him one time in front of me if there was a crystal that he didn't like, and he said muakkite. And the reason he didn't like it is because he had an experience with it that freaked him out. He was going to meditate with this crystal, and he asked the muakkite, "Show me where you're from." And he actually astrally projected to somewhere and had an encounter with someone, and it really, really scared him. So that was the reason that he didn't like that certain crystal anymore. However, you can ask your crystals to show you things like where they are from, or you can just use the crystal to kind of work on a chakra that you feel like isn't running smoothly, and just be like, ask the crystal to please send healing energy to this chakra, or ask the crystal to show you what you need to know, or ask that crystal to just help you go deeper into meditation. You can ask and program your crystals to do things. I prefer asking them rather than telling them what to do, but that's just me. There are so many different ways to use crystals, you guys, and these are just some of my favorite ways. I would love to hear down below what your favorite ways to use crystals are, even if they are the ways that I have already said, or if you have other ways that I have not mentioned, please share them below, not only for me, but for everyone else that reads the comment section. I like to believe we are all crystal lovers here. Keeping it short and sweet today, that is it for me. You guys, I hope you have such a great day. Thank you so much for being here. I will see you all next time.